All right, Shalom Yashala, Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Wahara Kakwadash Barakatham. I like to give double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akim pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aquat that they're listening. I like to get into a lesson right quick just about how I came across this what's this black loyalist item that's in Wikipedia, and because as you know, the curses, are all over, are very detailed. Salakia are very detailed from Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through verse 68. But as you notice with Jake, who's been scattered amongst these heathen, have a different type of mindset. Like, well, I'm better than you because this and that, and that's a curse because it says the matter of fact. I don't want to loosely paraphrase. Let me see. Salakia, 30s. Is it 37? It's about Jake should not be tender amongst his brother. Salakia, bear with me, Baba Kushan. Yeah, okay, here we go. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. So that man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Now, that's going into the family dynamic, and just because all Yasharala completely is a family. So that's where the questioning always comes in. Why can't so-called black people get along? Hey man, it's according to the curses. So that's why when you got Jake in Caribbeans, you got Jake in Britain, as I have up here on the screen. You got Jake scattered about, man. You know, and of course that goes to the Southern and Northern Kingdom. Why Jake does get along. Matter of fact, let me read this Wikipedia article. This is Black loyalist. A black loyalist was a person of African descent, we know, that's Israelites, who joined the British military forces during the American Revolutionary War. Many of these loyalists had been slaves who escaped from rebel masters to join the British in exchange for the crown's promise of freedom. And at that time, you did want that freedom, but you're still under the rule of the so-called white man. You know, you're still under the rule of the so-called white man, so you're not as free or sovereign as you like to be. But they seen the cruelty that the other Edomites had put on Jake. But Jake is always trying to find the answer. This is the answer. How about Shemiah Shah? This is I'll continue reading the article and I'll get some more scriptures. Some 3,000 black loyalists were evacuated from New York to Nova Scotia. They were individually listed in the Book of Negroes as the British gave them certificates of freedom and arranged for transport. So they kept a list of who was free and those who agree, pretty much just to serve under the British rule, but to somewhat have their freedom. And I'll continue reading. In the Book of Negroes, as the British gave them certificates of freedom and arranged for transport, the Crown gave them land grants and supplies to help them resettle in Nova Scotia. Some of the European loyalists who immigrated to Nova Scotia brought their slaves with them, making for an uneasy society. One historian has argued that those slaves should not be regarded as loyalists, as they had no choice in their fates. Other black loyalists were evacuated to London or the Caribbean colonies. You know, so it just lets what they still thought of you. Well, if I'm such this free, individual, you know, but that Book of Negroes was to keep tabs and I guess quote unquote overseers, at that time, with slave police and then bounties on Jake, who were described as runaway slaves or, because you seen the history, you seen 12 years a slave, man. And, there's countless events of Jake being resold to slavery and recaptured after being so-called free, man, from Esau. I'll continue reading. Thousands of African slaves escaped from plantations and fled to British lines, especially after British occupation of Charleston, South Carolina. When the British evacuated, they took many former slaves with them. Many ended up among London's black poor. Okay, and that's still what that's still due to the curses, man. You're still gonna be poor. With 4,000 resettled by the Sierra Leone Company to Freetown in Africa in 1787, 5 years later, another 1,192 black loyalists from Nova Scotia chose to immigrate to Sierra Leone, becoming known as the Nova Scotian settlers in the new British colony of Sierra Leone. Both waves of settlers became part of Sierra Leone Creole people and the founders of the nation of Sierra Leone. Thomas Jefferson referred to the black loyalists as the fugitives from these states. See, and that's Esau's mindset. I don't, Esau sees Jake nothing as something, beneath him, which, that's good. And the reason I say that's good because that shows their pure hatred for Yasharala, man. Okay. And then, of course, Esau, was mad at the Brits. I'll continue reading. While most black loyalists gained freedom, some did not. Those were recaptured by slave traders, were sold back into slavery, and treated harshly for having served under the British. So it's a no win-win. And the only win in this captivity is knowing who you are and coming back to the fold of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Okay. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 33, I believe. This is verse 33 in Deuteronomy. The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed all away, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. Yahweh shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Isn't that what happened when we got scattered amongst these other nations? And isn't that why we went into captivity, for serving other gods? And especially primarily in America, man, because our people are still doing it, man. People look at Esau as a god, so that's why the image of Caesar Borgia is that's why it's revered as a stronghold to our people. You see how they gravitate towards that Jesus is the devil sign that we have up there, because for one, that Jesus is not his name. His name is Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Okay, and he wasn't a so-called white man. Okay, with wavy, long, flowing hair and blue eyes, man. Okay, that's the image that Esau put up. And it's withstood its time, man. And our people are still under that mind control of Esau. Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither Yahweh shall lead thee. And it's given, these are, of course, these are all the, curses that we know of, and it didn't matter if Jake went to Britain, man. You see, Esau went, was recapturing Jake, Esau was recapturing Jake and beating the hell out of us, man. Beating the truth out of us, man. And just, destroying us, man. And read verse 38. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And Esau went extra hard, man. They went extra hard. Verse 49. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. When Jake was brought over to the States, we didn't understand what they were saying, man. So with that diaspora, man, even from Jake, of course, we had picked up, some at Jake, by that time it picked up the dialect from Esau, man, but that's still a curse unto us, man. Going over, to the Brits, because which America was under the rule under the Brits, the American Revolutionary War. So that was a perfect time for those Edomites to get Jake to serve under them as well. We're scattered amongst all people, like the scriptures has read, man. Okay, this is verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And that's what Esau had did, man. Whether we was over there with the Brits, or rather we was here, in the States, man. It was still no love for Yashala, Let me get Micah 2:10. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So you got Jake, who, like I was stating earlier in the lesson, who has that mindset. Well, over here in London or in the islands, look, man, we're all suffering from the captivity and the wickedness of this place, man. Okay, from us breaking the law, statutes, and commandments and serving under Esau, man, Jake is still suffering, man. Just because you're a black loyalist, you agreed to still serve under Esau, man. What type of sovereignty is that? A black loyalist, basically, nigga, you belong to me, nigga. You put your faith into me, basically, man. And that's another curse, man. That's another reason we're in captivity, giving credence to Esau to do whatever, man. Like he's Jake's savior, which of course we know he's not. But that black loyalist, man, basically, hey, if you serve under our army, we'll grant you this and that, And there really wasn't no love right there, man. It's just, they still they still know your history, the elite know who we are, and it's just prophecy all played out, man, and it's definitely here in the earth being discovered and being shown to us through the Spirit, man, that, hey, these Edomites, I don't care where you place them at, man, they still the damn devil, man. Okay, because who's that heavy over there? The Brits, the Rothschilds. Okay, they matter of fact, I don't know how I forgot this one. Akiam and Aqua. Let's see. Bear with me, Bob, for sure. Job 20:10. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. Hey, is that what not you saw over there in Britain did? With the black loyalist movement. So that's what Esau did, man. On the cool, and that's what they're semi trying to do with these reparations, man. Y'all keep them reparations, man. You're still going to be destroyed, and you're still going into captivity, man. Okay. Matter of fact, I might as well read verse 11 and 12. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Okay, you was born wicked, and you gonna die wicked, man. Full of sin, Esau. Verse 12. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue. And he clearly hid it under his tongue, man. Because another Edomite wasn't going. Any Edomite was gonna go hard for Jake. Through the spirit, that other Edomite had to have some, you know, somewhat type of agenda. Which a lot of times they had an agenda, or a political move or financial gain, which Abraham did. Abraham Lincoln with the so-called freeing of the slaves, and then you have this black loyalist movement. It sound good, but in the end, hey, Esau's a devil. We're here to wake up the elect, and Esau's rule is pretty much done, man. We're just waiting for other things to unfold, according to prophecy, man. I hope this was edifying for the Akyam and Akwath. Once again, call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Waha Rakak Wadash Barakatham. Once again, I like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Akyam, pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Akwath out there listening. Shalom.